from abroad, though. We're bringing you a story from Canada, where I believe the Swami Narayan Mandir was vandalized. This is in Ontario, in Canada. Cops have released CCTV footage of those that had drawn graffiti on the walls of the temple. I believe the graffiti is being described as anti-India graffiti. The graffiti itself, in images that are attached, had messages that were both against India and against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is the fifth such incident where a temple has been defaced with graffiti. This is since July last year. In Canada, we have, over the last few years, seen an increase in general in incidents of hate crimes targeting any kind of religion, sexual orientation and race, about a 72% increase. So there has been and continues to be a fear among minority communities, particularly the Indian community, which, remember, is the fastest growing demographic group in Canada. It accounts for almost 4% of the population of the country. Now, you might remember that over the last few days in Canada, in England, in Australia and in the UK, so in the US, so that in 4 countries in total, we have seen a increase in attacks. You've also seen an increase in protests and demonstrations taking place. This was related to the Khalistan issue that we'd seen play out over the last few weeks. This issue may or may not be related. My colleague Siddhant is with us right now to bring us more context on this entire story. Siddhant, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Siddhant, we're playing out for our audiences visuals on the right side of their screens of the graffiti itself. Can you walk us through what police may have been able to find in the hours since? Because I believe it has already been more than 12 hours since the incident first took place.
Well, that's right. And in fact, the Windsor police has tweeted the video, the CCTV footage, which they have managed to get from the temple administration. And in the footage, we can see that how this person in a black attire, face is masked, could be seen doing a graffiti vandalism on the walls of Bab's Swaminarayan Mandir in Windsor. And in fact, this is the 6th incident that has taken place in Canada in last 6 months. Other than these temple vandalism, there have been several other incidents where the separatist groups were involved. But because there is inaction on the part of authorities, the authorities in Canada are ignorant, and this is perhaps the reason that the morale of these forces, these groups, are high in Canada. And this is perhaps the reason that every week they plan one or the other protest against the peaceful Indian community living in Canada. In last 1 month, if we go by the event, it all started from the protest at a dinner which was organized to welcome Indian High Commissioner. Then there were massive protests outside outside Indian Consulate in Toronto and Vancouver, and in fact there have been several other such protests taking place in Canada. Now this time around, temple has again been attacked in Canada. Graffiti vandalism has taken place, but the good part is that this time around police has taken this case very seriously, unlikely of any other police force in Canada, and perhaps they have also come out with the CCTV footage, and in fact they are doing thorough investigation in this matter. They are looking out for this person. Maybe this action is taking place because of an immense pressure from the Indian authorities, because time and again India has flagged off the concerns related to the growing aggression of separatist groups in Canada. And in fact, when protests took place outside Indian Consulate in Toronto and Vancouver, the statement was issued by Indian government, and in fact, the same was conveyed to the Canadian
Siddhant,
counterparts.
just stay with us. Vinod Bansal from the VHP is with us this morning. I want to go over to him. Mr. Bansal, thank you for joining us here on CNN News 18. So we're bringing our audiences news of this incident. This is the 6th such incident we've seen play out in the last 6 months in Canada itself, where you've seen either a mandir or other kinds of religious institutions harmed. Now, in this graffiti in particular, I believe there were both anti-India and anti-Prime Minister Narendra Modi messages that were scrolled. We aren't able to share the entirety of those messages with our audiences. So what does the Vishwa Hindu Parishad believe needs to be done, particularly when it comes to the Canadian government? Are there any requests you have?
Yeah, definitely. It is very unfortunate, and these heartbreaking incidences being happened in Canada. And since last so many months, the way the anti-India or anti-Hindu elements are spreading the hatred in the country, and moreover, it is so serious that the government of the land is not taking any severe action against all those attackers, and Hindus are being targeted again and again. This is very shameful and heartbreaking incidences, and even the government of India is also taking up the matter with the concerned authorities in the Canada, but not taking seriously or not taking the culprits on task. Basically, this such type of the incidences are being happened. मुझे लगता है कि अब बहुत हो चुका और कनाडियन सरकार को इस हिंदू द्रोही और भारत विरोधी मानसिकता के लोगों को सबक सिखाने का समय आ गया.
So I just want to ask you, do you believe that this needs to be escalated to the diplomatic level? Though I'm asking you because India does share a good diplomatic relationship with Canada. Do you think it is perhaps important to see this issue get escalated to that level where we see our External Affairs Minister perhaps address Canada on this issue more formally?
You see, the External Affairs Ministry is in constant touch with the concerned authorities in Canada and in Australia, Canada, and other parts of the country. The other part of the country is actually the thing is that such type of happenings are being made actually. और अभी भारत ने कड़ा विरोध भी जताया था, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि अब ये कुछ एक व्हाट वी कॉल इट रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड कुछ काम करना पड़ेगा जिससे कि इस तरह की घटनाएं दोबारा से रिपीट ना हो.
एंड सर, नहीं, वही पूछना चाह रही हूँ मैं आपसे. जैसे हमने एक बहुत ही स्ट्रिक्ट स्टेटमेंट देखा था इंडिया से जो यूके में हुआ था 2 हफ्ते पहले इंडियन हाई कमीशन के बाहर, उसके तरफ एक बहुत ही स्ट्रिक्ट स्टेटमेंट देखा था. वैसे ही सर स्ट्रिक्ट स्टेटमेंट क्या आप देखना चाहते हैं इंडिया के एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्ट्री से?
डेफिनेटली वही होना चाहिए और होगा भी, मुझे लगता है. देखिए, भारत सरकार इस समय एक समर्थ सरकार है, शक्तिशाली सरकार है, और ये इस सरकार की बातों को अगर मान लो कोई नहीं लेता या मान लो कोई लाइटली लेता है तो मुझे लगता है ये उसकी बेवकूफ़ी होगी. आज की डेट में जिस तरह से भारत का ग्राफ बढ़ रहा है और भारतीय लोग, देखिए, हम किसी का नुकसान नहीं करते, हम किसी का बुरा नहीं सोचते, बुरा करने की तो बात ही दूर है. इसके बावजूद भी हमारे साथ बुरा जो करते हैं उनके साथ जो प्रतिकार है वो भी करना पड़ेगा. ये इस बात को हमें एंश्योर करना पड़ेगा.
मिस्टर बंसल, हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए धन्यवाद. थैंक यू. लेट्स गो ओवर टू माय कॉलीग Siddhant, who remains with us right now. Siddhant, we have over the last few weeks seen incidents, specifically, because I do want to be specific here, we've seen activists demonstrate outside high commissions of the country present in the UK. We've also seen some action take place in Australia, in the United States, and of course the UK. I just want to ask you, Siddhant, where have we seen the External Affairs Ministry issue statements? I know with what took place at the Indian High Commission in England, we did see the Indian government, particularly the External Affairs Minister, go out there with a strong statement. With all of the attacks you were highlighting that have taken place over the last 6 months in Canada, specifically around temples, what incidents has the External Affairs Ministry been sterner on?
Well, whenever some incident takes place in any of these countries, then immediately Indian government flags off the concern to the respective governments. And in fact, in last 1 month or maybe more than that, Indian government has conveyed concern to the Australian counterparts, to the counterparts in Great Britain, and even to the Canadian counterparts. So all these 3 countries have been told